Hello everybody, Nika here with your Daily Neuro Nugget. We made it to Friday, so grab your favorite beverage. I have tea because, let's be real here, it is Friday, the day we have all been waiting for. Kohberger back in court, finally. So it will be very interesting to see what comes out of that today. They could be talking about it as we speak. They could be setting a trial date potentially, so I do hope to have some time to cover that. I'm very curious to see if Judge is actually going to do the whole live streaming thing. Is he going to have a chat open? And if so, is he going to have moderators? Because let's be real, the internet is full of very interesting people. So we will talk about that, I hope, this evening. But right now, I want to focus on the newly unsealed documents. I reviewed them last night, and it's the prosecution wanting to reseal everything. It was very refreshing for me to listen to the attorney, what is her name? Elizabeth, maybe? Emily, on Law and Crime Network, saying it was very strange, that she found it very strange that the prosecution kept trying to seal everything. For me and for you, we know this is very strange. It is very abnormal, but still it is refreshing to hear a practicing attorney. Does she practice? I think she does. To hear an attorney say this, because it's odd. It is odd. The whole thing to me, revising these documents again, it just shows that the prosecution is grasping at straws. That's what it's coming across as to me. So maybe they don't actually have the ironclad case that they allegedly had. And we know they need to have an ironclad case because this is a death penalty case. So it is essential that they know what they're doing. But this constant sealing and unsealing and redacting and unredacting is very foolish in my opinion. So what first caught my eye was the Instagram search warrant, because it was looking at specifically dates of June 23, 2022 through November 21, 2022. My light died, yes. Why are they wanting to look into people's physical phones, into Instagram, a week after the crime took place? The crime allegedly took place on November 13, 2022. This search warrant for Instagram goes through to November 21st. That's an extra week. So we have all assumed that the physical phones were with LE. But now this makes me wonder, is it possible that the phones were actually not with LE? Did somebody else have them? Is it possible that somebody who was directly involved in the crime had the phones, and maybe they were trying to find information after the crimes took place? Why are they wanting this information a week after the crimes took place? Or maybe that's just me reading way too much into it. Now, another thing that I found very interesting was the names, right? We see only the names of Brian and the victims in the documents. Why? Did they even bother to search anybody else? Because these legal documents are giving me the vibe that they didn't. Why not request Instagram search warrants for maybe ex-boyfriends, maybe other young people that happened to be very close to them and spend quite a bit of time in the homes of these victims? No, you don't see those names in these legal documents, just Brian and the victims. So it does make one wonder, did they even bother to look at anybody else? Now, another thing there is the TikTok search warrant. And whose names do we see? We see Ethan, Dylan, and Bethany. That's it. Those 3 names are the only names on that TikTok search warrant. Again, it does make one wonder, is it possible that they are looking into Dylan and Bethany because maybe they were involved in one way or another? We know that several other fraternity members have TikToks, so why not bother looking into these people? No, just Dylan, Bethany, and Ethan. Very interesting. Why did they not request the TikTok for Xana, Madison, and Kaylee? You let me know. And that reminded me, because I saw Ethan's name, that Ethan's parents had requested a second autopsy. Why? Were they doubting the first autopsy reports? Is that possible? And is there a connection between Ethan, Dylan, and Bethany? We don't know. Now, this case, as I've said before, is extremely controversial and convoluted because at this point, we don't even know if the sheath found at the crime scene even belonged to the actual weapon that was used in the crime. So it just seems that LE is trying very, very hard to find some sort of social media connection to find a motive, because as of now, there is still no motive and no connection made between the victims and between Bryan Kohberger. So what in the world is going on? I don't know. I am just thankful that finally things are starting to unravel. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out, because I'm of the opinion that Moscow PD and maybe even FBI involved may be in way over their heads, because they could have just started out saying, oh, you know what, let's maybe not look too deeply into this case. And maybe they were not expecting so much pushback from people, not only in the United States, not only in YouTube, but I mean all eyes on them. Within the country here, so many YouTubers, so many news channels, and even overseas, we see news channels talking about this case. So, you guys already know I'm a firm believer that the truth always comes out, sometimes too late, but better late than never. Hopefully, Mr. Kohberger gets his right to fair trial like we are all entitled to have. I see today a lot of news channels saying it's unfair that Kohberger has a neat haircut, that he is wearing a suit, a nice suit. It's not fair. Remember, if you are in this group of people who think he's guilty, you have to remember, innocent until proven guilty. And just like all of us, he has his right to fair trial and his day in court. So stay tuned. If you guys hear something before I do on today's court session with Judge, let me know. I will be linking his channel as well in the description. I have also linked my personal email, so if you guys have any questions regarding this case, you can also contact me through there. Now, I have to get ready and go to job numero 2. So I hope to have a couple minutes, maybe in my lunch break, to discuss today's court hearing with all of you. You guys have a wonderful night. Stay tuned. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Use your critical thinking skills every time you are discerning information, whether it be on YouTube or any news channel. So that is my little rant for the day. My apologies that my light died here, but I'm just happy that all of us are kind of tuned in right now, because I'm hoping that all eyes on them is just going to make them realize that hiding things is going to do them no good. I say, unseal everything. Let it all come to light. So, have a wonderful night, and the kiss. Deep breath before I have to go work again. I thought I was going to show you guys a book, but I may have left it. I left it. It was the criminal psychology book. Because who doesn't like reading that kind of stuff? It's super awesome. This is amazing. For those of you guys wondering about Mr. Kohberger potentially being on the spectrum, you can Google the DSM-5. It's the most updated edition. It's our Bible, if you will, in psychology. So it can give you a little bit more insight. I think a lot of people coming the trial are going to be focusing quite a bit on his odd body language. And could there be a correlation between autism and odd body language? Is it possible that maybe his odd body language does not mean he committed the crime, but maybe that he is on the spectrum? We can speculate. So I really should get going now. My feet are falling asleep. All right, guys. Bye for real now.